Okay, well, I think we've talked a lot about, your your personal life. As you know, as you mentioned how we linked up, I'm in the music space. Mac Miller is the best rapper ever. Do you find this to be true to the best of your knowledge? Do you find this to be a lie, or do you think that's hearsay?
It's true to the best of my knowledge.
Ooh, okay, Mac, I see you. What does Mac mean to you? What effect has you've been through? You've been through a whirlwind. Like you've had a hell of a life already at such a young age. What effect has his music had on your life?
So I think I got into him, I want to say around like 2011 or 2012. And I remember being on vacation in Florida with my family and it just popping up on something like YouTube. And it actually was his song, Donald Trump. I'm sure you know that one.
Yeah, Donald Trump tried to sue him. And I think he won. This is true.
Trump won?
This is truth. Yeah, I think he basically made the argument that I never gave him permission to use my name, my likeness, and he sued him, and I think he won.
Wow.
I know it happened. I just don't know what the legality of
I'm
it was.
I'm going to look into that
That'd
when
be
I
your
leave
space.
here.
Yeah, you can postpartum defend Mac in this case and reopen it maybe.
Yeah, I'm going to write an op-ed on that.
There you go.
But yeah, my first tattoo, I don't have many yet, but my first tattoo is for Mac Miller.
No kidding. What is it? Tell us.
It's the word remember, and the two M's are capitalized. And I'm not sure if you're familiar, but
you smoked that one, kid.
It was taken from someone.
It's
one
all
of
right.
his friends. She's a singer. I'm gonna butcher her name. I don't know how to pronounce it, but she has a beautiful voice. It's Josma, I think is how you pronounce it. She's like R&B adjacent, I would say.
Sure.
But I saw that she got that tattoo, and I was like, what a beautiful way to commemorate him. Like, he's my favorite musical artist. I'm going to do that. And it was also, like, his music label was called Remember Music, but the first three letters were capitalized, REM, because one of his friends that had passed away, like, that was his initials. So I think calling his music label that was his way to commemorate his friend.
Yeah.
So that's why I got the tattoo.
Do you think a P and an A will ever make its way into any of your tattoos?
You never know.
Okay. I'll keep working. Rank your top 3 Mac Miller albums, please.
Oh, that's so difficult. I would say number 1 has to be Watching Movies with the Sound Off, and I feel like that's kind of a hot take. It's his 2013 album, but it has the most songs that I like hold special to my heart.
Exactly, relatability.
I would say 2. Maybe this is like cheating because it's not a real album, but it's
it counts.
A mixtape.
EPs,
okay, yeah.
Throw them in there, yeah.
Faces, obviously. That's got some bangers. It's also got some. I would say it's got my favorite Mac Miller song of all time, Colors and Shapes. Okay. Are you familiar?
I'm not. Maybe if I played it.
It's very deep.
Yeah, most of his, especially towards the back end of his life, like most of his stuff got there.
I feel like that's why he didn't get a lot of radio play, but it's like, you guys should be listening to what he has to say. He's a genius. It'd be crazy to know like what he would be doing now if he was still around.
Yeah.
And then I would say 3, I know it's like short and sweet, but The Divine Feminine, I think a lot of people disrespected that album, and it was like years ahead of its time. Imagine if that album came out in 2024.
He was so much more, and not to discredit anybody by any means, but he was so much more like artistic and involved in his music than I feel like a lot of rappers are. And I feel like rapper kind of boxes him in because he was very involved in the production. Mm-hmm. He would, he did evolve into singing. Like, it wasn't Whitney Houston singing, but like he changed into like melodic rap. So I don't have the insight that you have into his albums. Like, I'm not on the deep cuts, although I love them and listen and watch them regularly. But I've never really dove into his albums. Mm-hmm. For me, there's 2. Kidz, Far and Away, is number 1 for me. And that's the songs, the production, the colors, like just its presentation. But I think when we associate music with memories in our life, and that's exactly what that album is for me, I think that's what makes it special. Mm-hmm. And for me, I can just vividly remember the time in my life associated with that album or mixtape, like a bookmark. And when I play those songs, it transports me back, to those times of my life, and it truly works like magic. So that's my number 1, Far and Away. And then it's like, for me, number 2 is also Far and Away. And I'm not saying this is the accurate ranking. I'm just saying for me personally, this is how I feel. But I think it's called Swimming Pools. Maybe is a white cover, him sitting with bare feet swimming.
Yeah.
That album, it's 2009 is on there.
Yes, that's a great song.
Yeah, of course it is. The Tiny Desk performance of that is
unbelievable.
Absolutely, like he is so involved. He believes, like his soul is just it's just out there, and it's So I love those two albums, and that performance, those songs. But I've had my ups and downs with Mac. Mac's never heard of me. We haven't had ups and downs. I've had self-conflicts. First, I loved him. Then I made fun of him.
What'd you make fun of him for?
I called his music Kidz Bop because I thought it was a little immature. I made a tweet and everything. Like, Mac Miller's Kidz Bop album drops today on one of his album release dates. That wasn't nice. And now, of course, I'd like to think you can tell I love him again. But that was just that. It was hate. And he was doing all the things that I wanted to be doing. He was a white rapper from Pittsburgh who was younger than me, and he had made it. And, I'm proud to say, and we talked about this a little already, like, I've grown up and matured enough that I can admit that. And that's all that was, right? I didn't actually hate him. His music wasn't bad. I just had an internal struggle with jealousy and, you are where I want to be. And I was like resentful because it was him and not me. That's all that was. But that's a terrible energy to have, to hate what you want, what you aspire to be, what you want to become. And it should very much be the opposite, right? You should be magnetic. You should be polarizing to the things you want to become, and use it as roadmaps. Like, how did you get there? Let me retrace the steps. But I was in an envious state. That's ugly. I'm here to tell you that was ugly. So
it is funny that you say you called it Kidz Bop, because I do remember the song off Kidz called Kool-Aid and Frozen Pizza, and when I was playing it one time, my friend was like, "Why are we listening to a song called Kool-Aid and Frozen Pizza?" And I was like, "You don't understand. It's amazing."
Yeah. What's the one that's always on the internet that's memed from Kidz Bop? Miss Jackson. Are you aware of this? Have you seen it?
A Kidz Bop song?
It's a little boy does Outcasts. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. And just are you aware of what Miss Jackson is by Outkast?
No,
like, I'm sorry, Miss Jackson.
No.
You're not familiar with this song?
I know Hey Ya.
Yeah, you would be if you heard it. There's no way you could be who I thought you were. And
I have to have heard it. Maybe
you
I just don't know the
have.
name.
You 100% have. But yeah, there's a Kidz Bop version in there, and it's just super wild because it's like a little boy with a mushroom cut singing about how he wronged some woman's daughter.
What's a mushroom cut?
Oh man, you're super young, eh?
I know what a bowl cut is.
Rich, you know what a mushroom cut is? Yeah, see? So a bowl cut is pretty accurate, but it sits like a mushroom. Like, it's long, and then it's buzzed around that, but it sits like if my bangs were down and like this long, kind of like a bowl cut, but it was buzzed underneath it.
I have a lot of things to Google after.
So it's shaped a mushroom, yeah. Maybe we can pull a picture of a mushroom cut and show the fine folks at home. Oh man, but I appreciate Mac because he was himself from the jump, and over time he only evolved deeper and deeper into himself, and I feel like I'm on a similar journey, both musically and in my everyday life. I feel like you should never stop your self-discovery and your self-evolution.